Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name is Rodney.
And my name is Zach.
Zach, as we were just talking before we started recording, we don't know what to call this. It's like a little mini-sode. It's like a little fuck around. It's like a special bonus nugget. I don't know.
I like special bonus nugget. Who doesn't like nuggets of all forms? Gold, like a gold nugget, a chicken nugget, a vegetarian nugget. You know what I really miss?
What do you miss?
The little vegetarian nuggety things you get from Lord of the Fries. Lord of the Fries might be the thing I miss most about Melbourne. I miss you, obviously, but gee, Lord of the Fries is probably a close second.
Lord of the Fries. You can just, for people who don't know, you can tell them, oh man, it's so cool how they're all completely vegan, and you can just watch their facial expression. If they didn't know, it's like you've said something about one of their parents. It's an astounding thing.
It's like, you're adopted, right? And they're like, what? I had no idea. You tell people Lord of the Fries is vegetarian, vegan, whatever, and it blows people away. Oh, so good.
Trying to think of more nuggets, but I can't think of any Denver nuggets. That's about it.
No more nuggets.
Anyway, so there's no race this week, and this year we've been kind of experimenting with what are we going to do on a non-race week. And for the last, I don't know, I feel like for the last 7 years we've just gone, well, no race, no show, easy. But we've been trying to kind of experimenting with like, well, let's maybe do a show, let's maybe not do a show, let's try this, which is going to be just a quick little hello from us to keep the feed alive for you. And I feel like every little bit of content that we can put out helps because things are tough. It's not a good year. So any chance to say hello, we're going to take, and hopefully you appreciate that. But yeah, it's just a quick little mini update. And then we'll, when we finish this one, we're going to go and record a special bonus episode for the very special members of the Super License Club who keep us going, keep the lights on, and stop us from living underneath the underpass. Yeah,
exactly. So if you hear this and you're like, you know what? That wasn't enough. That was a taster and a amuse-bouche of the Super License Universe, boys. I need a bit more. Go subscribe to the Patreon. And there's whole bunches of Drift episodes in there, and you'll get the new episode that we're about to record after this.
Can we call this an amuse-bouche license?
Yes, amuse-bouche license. That's it. That's the one.
So there's been a little bit of news. You asked me how much of the Le Mans 24 I watched this weekend. My answer was not one single frame. I believe that the winners were Sebastian Buemi, Brendan Big Heart Hartley, and Alex Lynn, unless I'm wrong about that.
No, I think it's Nakajima.
Woohoo. Oh, okay, sure. I don't know. This is where if you know anything about Le Mans 24 and what happened, you should let it out because I don't know a single thing.
I am furiously Googling double check. Yes, Kazuki Nakajima, was the third driver there for Toyota. Okay. Yes, Sebastian Buemi and Brendan Big Heart Hartley.
Okay.
Brendan Big Heart Hartley just seemingly wins Le Mans every year now. That's actually 3 years in a row for Toyota, and I'm pretty sure Buemi and Big Heart Hartley. Obviously, Fernando Jalonzo, Camo Alonso, I suppose is the best way to refer to him, was part of that team last season on his way to what he hopes will be a triple crown. He'll never win Indianapolis 500, right? We understand that. He seems to be the only person who doesn't understand that he will never win Indy 500.
I'm of the impression, based on what Cyril Abiteboul has said, that as long as he is racing for Alpine, he won't be allowed to leave and go and race for the Indy 500, which means he won't be racing for the next 2 years at least over there. And then I don't know how old you can race until, but I mean, the good news is, as far as I can tell, if you're a former F1 driver, you've got, up to 20 years after you retire or leave to go over there and compete. So I don't think time is an issue. It's just, I wouldn't expect it in the next few years.
Yeah, we're not going to see it there in the next few years. I feel like Paul di Resta might have won the LMP2 category. Le Mans is a multi-category thing. I think that Paul di Resta, our favourite man, maybe one of my favourite people, I think was in the LMP2 car. But again, I mean, I can't keep track of all of that. I do always make a habit of listening to the Radio Le Mans radio coverage in the evening of the Saturday night. I think that there is something quite comforting and special about listening to the coverage of a race that is happening at night. And it feels really cozy and comfortable because it feels like there's just like a few people like tuning into this like long range radio transmission of this thing that's it's got a real foreign taste to it. It really reminds me of like listening to the cricket when I was a kid, when Australia was playing like the West Indies in Jamaica or something, because that might be on at night, and I feel like I'm the only person listening to it, and those people are like doing that radio show for me, and Radio Le Mans feels like that. So it was nice. Then you just wake up the next morning and not you, obviously you got the wrong time zone, but I wake up the next morning, just put on the TV in the background for the next 6 hours or so, because then it's just on and you can go about your day, but you're absorbing some of Le Mans.
Yeah, you're right. You, not me. I was wondering whether they saw a little bump based on the fact that there was a big Hollywood movie that surrounds Le Mans 24, and they were like, "Oh, this will be the good year for us. Fantastic. Nothing's going to stop us." And then boom, 2020 hits, and it's like, take that, mother. But under
no Formula One race either?
Yes, under normal circumstances, I'm sure Le Mans 24 would have had all eyes on it, trained on it, and they would have been in a good position to convert some new people who have been exposed to the sport for the first time. But that may or may not have happened this year. There's a lot on people's minds. But it'd be interesting to hear if anyone knows. Oh, yeah, no, the numbers were up or whatever. Probably not at the track, but just watching or listening in.
I wonder if the numbers were up, could have been up because more people couldn't go, and this was the one they're kind of looking for. And yeah, as I said, no overlap with Formula One this year. So it meant that if you wanted to watch the big marquee motorsport, it was the World Endurance Championship at Le Mans this year.
Yeah. Well, anyway, did we cover that? Does that count as us covering that?
Yep. Again, you come to us for the Le Mans 24 coverage every year, and was it. 3 minutes.
We've talked about Le Mans 24 in the entire 7 years that we've been doing this show. Any other big ticket items that we need to tick off in this little mini-sode?
Oh, what else is there?
Before we get to recommendations.
Oh, before we get to recommendations. Shit, did you brief me on that beforehand as well? Probably.
No. So the first segment is Surprise Zach with a surprise segment, and then the second segment is recommendations.
I'm just trying to think if there was anything else kind of generally Formula One related. I mean, not so much so. I think that we're getting fans at Formula One races now as well. But then things are kind of getting, well, I mean, what did we see? It was 20,000 or 30,000 tickets are going to be sold for the German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. That's a lot of fans. That's cool. That's things moving in the right direction. However, as we're seeing in the UK, I mean, I'm going to kind of tell everybody then that you can tell that we're recording today in the UK, but we're just getting, updates in the UK about what level of COVID restrictions we're about to lean into or have imposed upon us, probably quite rightly, in the next few moments. So all of the kind of, hey, things were kind of coming out of it, and sport, we could go and see some live sport, is immediately beginning to change again. So hopefully you get the 20,000 fans into Formula One races, and hopefully we kind of continue that upward trend towards getting everybody in to especially open air sport, right? Formula One is outdoors. It's a low risk sport compared to we're not all cramming into the Melbourne ice skating rink to watch.
I was thinking about that recently. I don't know why,
play ice hockey. So yeah, I think that's all I can think of. Is there any other news items you had?
That wasted nearly an entire minute of you just thinking about that. Not really any news items, no. I mean, the Formula One stuff is all just, there's this race we're going to. There's these drivers that haven't signed yet. It's like, well, have they signed? No, they have not. Well, that's not a story, is it? It's a story when something happens. Like, they're not going to sign, shock horror, or they have signed. Good news. Lewis Hamilton, 2 more years at Mercedes or whatever. Stupid stories going around by bloody Eddie Jordan saying, oh, wouldn't it be funny if Hamilton went to Red Bull? It's like, yeah, it would be funny. It would be funny if he drove the slowest car in the field. But guess what? That's not news. That's nothing. That's just nothing, AJ. Get off his stupid clothes and come up with a good theory for a change.
Yeah, that's the difference, right? There's dross, and then there's genuine, well-informed conjecture, which is why people come to this show.
Dross is EJ's middle name, I'll tell you what. Dross J, exactly. Well, it's time for recommendations then, Zach. Let's boot it home. Everyone's clamoring. We've got them all excited for a full Super License episode, but we're going to completely dud them, like a bunch of spuds we are, with a short episode. So we better leave them with a good recommendation. Have you got anything you've been enjoying lately?
Just anything, not even Formula One related.
Probably better if it's not Formula One related. A podcast, a TV show, a book, a nice cloud that you saw, something like that.
I'm going to really show my hand here and be like, you know what I've been really enjoying? Borgen on Netflix.
Borgen, yeah.
Borgen. Have you watched Borgen?
I loved Borgen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Why are you surprised about that?
Well, I didn't know that we both enjoyed Scandi dark.
Well, I enjoyed it a long time ago, but I'm glad you finally caught up with the cool kids.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I didn't know it was on Netflix. No, really, really good show. It does. I think it starts off better than it finishes. Like, it starts off quite serious
Strong.
and very good, and by the end it gets more and more fantastical. But anyway, a good political show, really strong female characters. Definitely, you need to be okay with subtitles, but if you've got nothing else to do, give it a shot. Why not?
Apparently on Netflix, I watch it with the subtitles, but apparently there is a new English dubbing available. They keep telling me in the title card. I know I don't use that because I love being really caught off guard for when they do speak English.
Yes.
I'm always like,
yes, it's jarring.
Wow, so weird. Great. But yeah, if you're looking for a political drama that is not COVID related, but somehow steeped in the concerns of, like leaving Afghanistan or environmental issues of 2010 and onwards,
definitely, yes,
then this show is for you. And if you like that, or if you've liked things like The Bridge or Fort Bedelson, which is The Following, The Killing, not The Following. The Following was weird, but The Killing, and you've got an eye on maybe, getting interested in some more thrillery, dramery kind of stuff. These are dense and they're exciting and they're fun. And you can feel really cultured and like, oh, look, I watch foreign television. Ooh,
it's like if you enjoyed The West Wing but want something less American, go with Borgen. It's good.
That's kind of the theme to all of my content recommendations recently, though. Like, I am getting less American in the content that I absorb because I feel like I've been absorbing American content my whole life. Not that there's anything wrong with American content. However, especially in the podcast game, I don't know if I can listen to American podcasts talking about specific American problems and never really coming to the idea that maybe their country might not be the greatest country in the world, and maybe that might have something to do with like the problems that they're facing, and that other countries are facing similar problems or have faced them in the past and made changes.
Yeah,
there's a really interesting. Somebody tweeted about the other day that they were like, I never really understood what this like adding 101 to the end of a subject was like. Oh, this is economics 101. Where that came from? Like, what is that? And it's like, oh, that's what Americans call the first subject in any discipline, like 101. But we don't have that in Australia. We don't have it in the UK. We don't have it anywhere else in the world. But we all know what it means, just like we all know how important a prom is, having none of us ever been to one or seen one in real life. And Halloween probably the same. Like, where did that come from? It's just from there. So yes, I'm trying to absorb less American content and start to get into more other kinds of content from other places, which means I've obviously thrown out my favorite podcast, 99% Invisible, not listening to it anymore. No, that's not true. And no one's going to listen to that new Reply All that everybody's talking about their investigation into QAnon, I'm sure.
Actually, that might be worth checking out.
Definitely.
Very good. Well, my recommendation is a TV show we've been watching called Ted Lasso. I think it was made by Warner Brothers, but it's currently out on Apple, and which means you have to get it on the torrents or buy an iPhone, one of the two. Probably not worth buying a new iPhone 4, but it's worth a look because it's got Jason Sudeikis, and it brings the sharp satirical tongue of the US sense of humor to a British setting, and he obviously hosts he coaches I don't know if it's Premier League. It's a soccer team, football team. So there's a culture clash there, but it's just a good, kind-hearted show. I tweeted about this, that it's the kind of show where you can see the plot coming from a mile away, but the laughs come from out of nowhere. And I couldn't agree with me more about that. So, I think if you want just something that's wholesome that you can just switch on and enjoy, it's a guilt-free, unchallenging good time. That's my recommendation. Ted Lasso.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
You would like it.
Wasn't he in some ads as that character? I feel like that's where that character started. That he was in some joke ads as that character. Like,
I mean, I could believe it. Let's just say that's true.
Yeah. But I feel like it's a good thing. I like him generally. So more of that, please. It's
definitely, if you like him, you would like this as well. So there you go. Well, look, we might love you and leave you, and we'll see you after the Russian Grand Prix, or if you're a Super License Club member or want to be one, you're about to get another little bit of a bonus episode. So if you want to check it out, because you've never checked it out, go and check it out. It's at superlicense.com.au/club, or visit the homepage and there's a club link. For club members who might be listening, I'm thinking I'll put the next bonus episode out in the normal channels, but I might retwig some set up things as well, but I'll email you all about that as well. But yeah, if you're super jelly right now, go and check it out and get yourself some more content from your boys, Rod and Zach. Anything else to leave us on, Zach?
PSA, the Russian Grand Prix is on at a weird time this weekend.
Earlier. Don't miss it. Don't check in at the normal time. I think it's 2 hours earlier. Check your local guides.
Yeah, it's on at like 11 a.m. or something here. Or maybe coverage starts at 10:30.
A beautiful 9 p.m. my time. I will be in bed before midnight for the first time for an F1 race this whole season. And I think it's going to be that.
That's very good for you. You deserve it. I think we all deserve it as fans, especially those Australian and American listeners. I'm sure that means better watching time for you. I hope. Maybe it's worse. I don't know. But it definitely means a brunch race for me. So maybe I will enjoy some however Russians break fast. I'm going to do some Googling. A slice of cantaloupe. Yes.
That's a brunch thing.
Definitely. Okay. And mimosas, I suppose.
I can't wait for the pictures on Instagram about that. All right, buddy. We'll wrap it up there, and we'll see everyone next time. Thanks for listening. Until then, my name's been Rod.
My name's been Zach.
Catch you after the next race. Bye-bye.